Welcome to the Real Estate Jam session. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about how to get your real estate offer accepted. My guest today, David Pere, is a very sophisticated real estate investor across the Midwest. He's going to walk us through how to get these offers accepted. So make sure you go to the video, give us a like. While you're there, make sure you subscribe. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Joe Killinger. I've been a real estate entrepreneur for over 20 years. And I use this channel to bring guests on, and we talk about what's worked well for us, what has not worked well for us, and we've had a little bit of both, actually a lot of both. So you're going to want to tune in and see this. We put these videos out twice a week. Make sure you check it out. If you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe and like. All right, so today we're going to be talking about ways to get your real estate offer accepted. I'm learning how to talk today, David. I'm having a hell of a time over here. How are you?
I'm good. I've trying to solve that problem with cold black coffee left over from this morning, so I get it.
I did we've got a good espresso machine here in the office, and I tell you what, about 2 or 3 of those, and I'm like, whew, okay, we need to get this going.
I probably will upgrade to like one of those Nespressos or an actual espresso off machine at one point. I'm definitely a coffee buff, and
yeah,
I'd rather, yeah.
This industry kind of dictates you have to be that kind of thing. So go.
Yeah, yeah. And I was in the military too, so it's like you go right from like addicted to caffeine to addicted to caffeine again, and
well, before we dive into it, let's just get a 2-minute background on you, Dave.
Yeah, so Dave Pere, I spent 13 years in the Marine Corps, left active duty last year. In 2015, I bought a duplex. I lived in one half, rented the other half because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and thought, wow, real estate sounds cool. And then kind of just dove in. I bought that. My next purchase was random, like 5-acre lot, and then a 10 unit. And then kind of like slow rolled for a few years while building this brand that I didn't know I was building. I was just kind of documenting what I was learning about real estate. So I was talking to service members about real estate, and that kind of exploded as that exploded, my portfolio grew, and everything else kind of has just been this upward trajectory. Just sold the 10 unit. So currently under just shy of 100 doors now in stuff that I either personally own or am partnered with 1 or 2 friends. And then we've got another 816, I think, that I'm partnered with on the GP side for some syndications. And I don't really count those, people talk doors, and like my ownership and involvement in those is so minimal that they're just kind of there. But yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. Started in 2015. Last year I hit financial freedom and left, and now we're building this big old off-market deal machine, trying to land a bunch of stuff for myself.
Okay, now what'd you do with the 5-acre lots that you bought?
Well, that was more or less just my wife wants more land, and our neighbor's selling something. So we well, you'll appreciate this because we kind of talked about it before. We had 4 head of cattle, and so we were like, hey, if we buy another 5 acres, we could have 10 head of cattle, and they'll pay for it. And so we've actually cash flowed on that vacant lot for 5 years now because of stake. So I call it cattle financing. But
yeah, that'll work. And stake is so
ag exempt.
Right now.
Yeah, and you get ag exempt, and I got to write off my 4-wheeler as a business expense. So it's really not a bad gig.
Oh yeah, sounds good. Now your focus is Midwest, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. I'm in Missouri. Probably do a little bit in Arkansas one of these days too, which is where I grew up.
Okay. It's funny because we have a commercial brokerage company here in Los Angeles, and I can't tell you over the last 6 months how many calls we've got of people wanting ranch land in Arkansas, of all places. So
Arkansas it's a hidden gem, but it's a nice place. I mean, they call it the natural state for a reason. You got the Ozarks, and you've got I mean, I don't know. I like Arkansas for sure.
Oh, and some of the ranches I saw were just, or some of the land we saw was absolutely beautiful
and affordable.
All right, let's jump into it, Dave. So it's hard to go out and find deals right now, right? I mean, there's multiple offers on everything. It's a problem that I'm sure everybody watching this show that they're having. So it was very interesting when I saw the title, and I go, this is great timing, because I think everybody's struggling with this. Where are you having your most success in getting your offers accepted?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're doing for and this is kind of cheating, but this is the cheat code, right? Is we're doing a ton of marketing. for
Oh, yeah.
off market stuff. So we're trying not to fight in the, 3, 4, 5 multiple offers. We're trying to fight in the, like, you got our postcard and we're
Right.
the only person that's talking to you. So we've done a lot in that space with direct mail and cold callers. We're doing a lot of transactions there, but we're also doing, the problem with this question is it's so market specific, right?
Yeah,
Because it's
it
like
is.
in San Diego, I'm going to tell you, like, okay, well, good luck. You need to have an appraisal contingency waiver. You need to have, cash reserves. You need to have a bank that can close. I mean, I think in high price markets, the best thing you can do is be pre-approved by a lender who can guarantee less than a 30-day close, so whether that's
Yeah.
a 17-day, 21-day, 25-day, if you can close quick. But the most important thing, when it comes to all this that I've found is whether you're doing on market or off market, it's just finding a way to talk to the seller, figure out what they want. People are slapping offers all over the place and have no idea what the seller is actually looking to get out of it. Is it the highest offer? Is it a quick
Right.
close? Is it, maybe they want to live in it for 3 months while I don't know.
Yeah, you have to be able to be flexible right now. Right now, the sellers are in the driver's seat, right? So they want to sell it to you, but then stay in it for 60 days or 90 days while they're looking for something else at free rent. That might be something you have to do, right?
Yeah.
Now, you said postcards. Now, I'm in the Los Angeles market, so that doesn't work very well here. So in your market, those postcards work well, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of a saturation thing, right? So I mean,
Right.
to be fair, I know people in the LA market or San Diego market who are doing that, but they're also, their cost per deal is probably $5,000 to $10,000, whereas mine's 12 to 1,500.
Yeah.
So they're sending 5 or 10 times as many letters
Right.
for a deal as I am. So it adds up real quick. But what we're doing mainly, so we have cold callers that are picking up the phone and hitting pretty much everybody who has equity in our market. But then for the direct mail piece and the postcards, we're doing like super niche. So I'm pulling data for like the county code violation list, and if I could find the water shutoffs and who has a tax lien on their house, and pulling death certificates every month to see maybe they're going to go into probate.
Mhm.
And so I have this system I use called REI Sift, where I upload all those lists and it kind of just stacks them all together. And then it'll show me like, hey, here's a house with 6 issues. And you click on it. It's
Right.
like, hey, this guy's absentee out of state. He's high equity. He's got a code violation and he just had an eviction. Oh, okay. Well, awesome. I'm going to send that guy a postcard every month for the next 6 months. And then you call him and you text him. And so we're really trying to, on the postcard side, because it is a lesser response rate, we're trying to target people that, whether they like to admit it or not, have a real reason to sell to us.
Right. Yeah. It's finding them right now here in California. It's so tight. I mean, our multifamily guys are on the phones all day. We're doing everything. We're having pretty good luck with target marketing through via Facebook ads and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's hit and miss on the area too. So all right. So when you're finding a deal, what kind of package do you put together to go out and get your deal right away? How do you? I mean, obviously you're pre-approved. You've got a bunch of cash set aside. What are you finding that the sellers are really wanting to see from you guys?
Again, kind of different market to market. For us right now, it's really just cash, quick close with
Okay.
with no, no headaches, no issues, whatever that may be.
Are you having
Um,
to remove contingencies?
so most of what I'm doing, is, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to close. There's and the nice thing, so I've built this kind of a brand, I guess, around
Mhm.
everything with Freedom Properties,
Yep.
where we are comfortable enough at this point where I will tell sellers like, hey, well, here's the title company's phone number, ask for David Clymer and ask him if we'll close.
Okay.
Like, and so we've got a point, like, I've never not closed a deal. And so and I mean, obviously at some point there will probably be something where some major thing comes up in the process and we're like, nope, that one is not what but for what
Yeah.
we're doing, most of what we're buying is distress. It's
Right.
crap. It's, and then they're all just back and forth. So we bought in, I guess the first one closed in May, and then May, June, and September. So it was 3 transactions total, but we bought a port, and it was just spaced that way because of due diligence timing, and one of them, the guy needed to hit September 5th for long-term capital gains tax, so we did a lease
Gotcha.
option until then. But we bought a 40-unit hotel, a 23-unit apartment, and a 15-unit apartment, and a single family house off of one seller off a single postcard.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was 8 or 9 weeks of follow up and telling him like we're legit, like I'm a real person, I'll come meet you. But it works. It's just hit or miss.
Yeah. So you have you ever had to remove contingencies and walk away from a deal and lose your deposit?
I haven't, no.
Okay. So you're
No,
close. So you have
closed
a full
everything.
team.
And I've lost a little bit. Like, I mean, I've had deals where I realized due to whatever that I was going to lose $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 on the flip or however I was structuring it. And just said, you know what, I'm going to bite that so that I can continue to say that I've closed every deal I've ever closed. Now, if it was like a $50,000 snafu, obviously we're talking, that's a whole different ball game. But losing a little bit of money to keep a reputation where you can, in a market like this, being able to say that I have closed everything I've ever signed a contract on and I will continue to do so, that goes a long way.
Well, I think you hit on a key aspect. I think a lot of people don't realize is having that team around you is for you being willing to give your title rep or your escrow rep, having that team and say, listen, call them, call them and talk to them. If you're not comfortable, this is part of my team. And that team aspect helps a lot.
Yeah. I don't do anything. I try to do everything gets done by the team. I just talk on podcasts.
Yeah. Now, how big of a team do you have for your maintenance, or not your maintenance, but your rehab team?
Yeah. So and I should almost call my project manager in here. So we have 3 renovations going right now. We've got one, a GC who we're hoping to bring on full time in the next month or 2. And then we've got 3 crews. One of them has 5 and the other one is 2 and 3. So 8, 10, 11.
Okay.
So
you got a good size team.
10 1099s, 1 W2, and then I've got a lead manager W2, an acquisitions manager / COO W2, and then 3 cold caller virtual assistants from ironically they're all from Egypt.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know where that we weren't looking for Egypt.
Are they all family or
no? But one of them was recommended by one of the ones that already was on the team. So, and she's a killer. She's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So she's like, I think she got 6 leads on Thursday, and like we want them to get 1 or 2 a day, and she's at like 3 or 4 times that so far since she's been with us. 1 or 2
a day, man. Okay, when they ever want to move to California, get into commercial real estate, I want to hook them up with our commercial real estate team here. My God, that's huge. Well, how many people do you have cold calling there?
Just 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah, so they can hit about 30,000 phone calls a month between the 3 of them.
Wow, that's impressive. All right, so let's say, and now wait, let me back up here. I'm jumping way ahead of myself. Are you seeing it? I've got so many questions, right? In California, you're seeing where people are coming and say, here's my deposit. It's yours if I get the deal. Are you seeing that in your market yet?
No. You mean like where the deposit goes hard?
Right away. Yeah.
No, no, we are not.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'd play that game either.
I know. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm from the Midwest. I'm like, that might be a little too much risk for me. But some people are willing to do it.
Is that on the residential side?
Oh, you're seeing on residential too, but you're seeing on smaller retail, smaller multifamily deals, not the big.
And those aren't. That's not institutional debt.
Oh no,
because that would make sense.
They're paying cash.
Like I could see if like Open Door Capital or some or Blackwater, whatever their name is, Blackstone came in and said, we're gonna pay cash and we're gonna go hard on day one because well, for one, it's not their money, and for 2, they've been doing this forever.
Yeah,
but for individual investors, that's kind of scary.
Well, now when I see individual, these are very sophisticated people that own something. Typically, they own something right in the area already, so they know the market. And they have a plan for the building already. So, if they need to, they'll try and get debt, but if they can't, or a loan, but if they can't, then they'll just pay cash for it and then refi it afterwards. So lots of good stuff happening right now. It's a little scary to me. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know that that'd
yeah.
be a
Well,
game I'd
they
play
have,
in.
again, it's not anybody new doing that. And I don't
Good,
recommend
good.
anybody do that unless you absolutely need that property, or if it completes it's a parcel that you really need to complete a project of some kind.
Yeah.
All right, but now let me ask this, David. So I'm a new investor. I'm just getting started. How do I go out and get my first deal? What do I need to do to get my first deal accepted?
Yeah. Well,
Stay out of your
so
market, number one.
stay away from my market. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Worst market ever. Yeah. It, don't get me wrong. I like to tell people the idea of finding your own deals off market, but that is way easier to say out loud than it is to do. And I realize that the marketing machine you got to start churning out to make that happen makes it not worthwhile until you're a few investments in. Um, I would say for the most part right now, one thing I tell everyone is go to Google and type in need to sell my house fast and then add yourself to every wholesaler's buying list.
Oh.
Um, because
Hmm.
their whole gig, the only way they make money is if they source a really good deal and sell it to somebody else at a price where they can still make a profit by flipping the house. So there's a couple things going for you there. One, they're telling you the price and they're not listed. So there's no agents involved. There's
Right.
no, it's just kind of cool. I got that money. Let's go. You have to run your own due diligence, make sure
Sure.
everything, the prices work, but they're usually really easy transactions.
Right.
And so there's probably less competition there than there is in, the actual real estate market. The moment it gets listed, every qualified buyer in the world
Sure. Yeah.
sees
They're all
it,
there.
sees it
Swarming.
and starts hunting. So if you can
Yeah.
find that pocket, and then the other thing, I've obviously worked with an agent, get with a good agent, and I would just say, make some offers, right? Like
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, that won't work in my market." Well, you're right. If you don't do it,
Yeah.
it's if you're never going to know if you don't write the offer. I mean, I don't know, write the offer, tell your story. Yeah, you never know what's going to get something approved, and a lot of time it's that personal connection, that relationship,
Mhm.
that figuring out what they want. It's not the price. That's
Yeah.
usually not the most important thing. People tell you it is, but
Sure.
usually not.
Yeah. Unless it's a big or an investment property, then
Yeah.
maybe. But if you're looking to do smaller stuff, definitely you want to get to know them as best you can.
And
Um,
on the big stuff, I would say it's pretty much broker relations, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's
Well, the
that's what
wholesaling thing is a brilliant idea. I'd never thought about that. That's a great idea to get to connect with wholesalers and get on their lists and see what they've got coming up in your area.
yeah.
Are there any other websites that you can recommend?
I mean, it depends on how much whether you want to start sourcing your own stuff. So, there's one I just saw. I haven't tried it out called is it Go for No? I'll get back with you. I'll send you a link when
Okay.
that's basically like they're building a like a community type, like, hey, if you've got houses you want to sell or
Okay.
wholesale, like let's source them all here. And it's kind of like Zillow, except it's all off market stuff. That's
Yeah.
good. I think
And I'll put
the
that
worst.
link down below in the video. When you send it to me, I'll put it the link so so they can see it.
Cool. I mean, just getting connected with people locally. Go to
Yeah.
your local real estate meetup and just talk to people. You're
Yeah.
gonna source more deals from networking than you ever will from pretty much anything else you do. I mean, marketing's great, don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but the return on investment on marketing is there, but it costs a lot of money to get that return. Whereas the return on investment with networking, like as long as you're a decent person, it doesn't cost you a fortune to network.
Get out and meet people. Now, let me ask you: do you have one agent you work with, or do you have several that you're dealing with?
I work with one team for now. I've worked with several in the past. I've probably gone through 3 or 4. The team that I'm working with right now is just a bunch of young, hungry agents who all invest as well.
Yeah.
And so like they've kind of become the team that anybody in town who wants to handle a transaction or wholesale something or do something off market, like they find it first and they're basically brokering transactions before they ever hit the market. And so I
Ideal.
work with them. Yeah.
Ideal. Do they pitch in with you then? Do they invest with you?
One of like their team lead, he hasn't bought one yet, but he will.
Yeah.
He's always interested, but he's got 4 or 5 teams that do his projects, and I just seem
Okay.
to catch him at the time that they're all already busy. But
Right.
and then one of the other guys has
Okay. Because that's a good idea, isn't it? To talk to real estate agents, say, listen, you bring me off market deals, I'll work you into the deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of think that's a good idea. But what we get, and what we have to be careful as a new investor is, don't call every broker in town and say, listen, I'm looking for deals, because they're going to all start talking, go, oh, I'm working with him. Oh, I'm working with him. And next thing you know, you're getting nothing because everybody's out there looking. We see that. We'll get our agents, even on the commercial side, they'll get people. So, hey, I'm just reaching out. I'm looking for off-market multifamily deals. You know how many of those emails those guys get every day? And, if you're not willing to commit to a team or two, it in the end could do a lot of damage. But all right. Well, David, do you have any final tips for our investors?
I think the best tip that it basically in line with any type of advice is if you want to get good at something like this, surround yourself with people who are already doing it.
Yeah.
Just get in the room with people who are already finding deals and figure out how they're doing it, because your market's going to be different than mine. Obviously, if people are throwing their down payment hard and we're not even doing earnest money. So it's a whole different beast. Yeah. So we're still there, but I mean, we're definitely coming in way over, we're over market, but there's still kind of good old boy here. Hasn't bit me yet, but
it's a great business. I love it. I think the one thing that I always tell new investors is patience. And, I got lucky on my first deal, 10 unit. I paid $275,000. 8 years later, I sold it for 2.1, I think, or 2.2.
Wow.
But the second property I bought, David, 3-story walk up in Koreatown, couldn't keep those top units full. Nobody wants to carry groceries up 3 floors. And so, I could see that we got lucky on that first one. It felt good. I think maybe I thought it was a little invincible. And so I took a risk and it bit me in the ass. So, but I should have patience on that second one. And I really learned from that. So, all right. Well, David, tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, I run the Military Millionaire podcast, and we help service members and vets learn how to build wealth through real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and personal finance.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. I'm going to put the link. If you can send me the link, or I can actually go find the link, and I'll put it down below so people can find you there. And David, thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely, Joe. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, make sure you go into the YouTube channel, give us a subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you like this video. Thank you.